He knows that I have no problem telling someone they're wrong. We live in an era of fraud in America, not just in banking, but in government, education, religion, food, even baseball. I thought we were better than this. I really did.
As the Delta variant still remains a concern in the economy, stocks do end on a high note today as the Nasdaq crosses a key milestone, passing the 15,000 mark, as well as the S&P 500 setting a new all-time high as well. So, as the markets await the Jackson Hole Summit, let's get into how it can affect the markets.
The other thing about
5
that
trillion
period
in
in
money market
2011.
funds earning, sorry, 5 trillion in money market funds earning negative real returns after inflation.
Exactly.
5 trillion. Prior to the pandemic, it was 4 trillion. So the growth in money market assets is up 20%, and stock market forward PE has actually declined this year because earnings growth has been faster than the growth in the market.
$1 trillion incremental in cash, 20 trillion incremental from the lows in equity market value. What would you tell your clients if they had to rebalance right now, if they were up that much in stocks and their cash holdings went that much lower as a percentage?
Yeah, I think it depends if you're doing a rebalance on a calendar basis or you're trying to be opportunistic. We try to be a little bit opportunistic, and this is probably as good a time as any in a sleepy market where there doesn't seem to be a tremendous amount of news in front of us. Earnings are behind us. It's not a terrible time to do a rebalance. But then what? And how severe of a rebalance do you really want to do here?
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic too here with stocks not seeing a decline of 5% or more in the past 5 to 6 months. There's no other place to be other than the equity market. I mean, when you just look at it, I mean, if everything is going up right now, why not take short term profits and try to create more cash in this time of uncertainty with the Delta variant, unemployment jobs, the Fed tapering? There's just a lot of unknown and variables at this moment in time. So, in my stance, I'm taking profits now. I know this is not a true and realistic market at this point in time, but if you can make money in it, why not? You just have to realize that this isn't how markets truly work, because if the Fed wasn't buying back all those mortgage backed securities, I mean, things could be a little different. I mean, the Fed is propping up the market for everyone. So, as mask mandates start appearing more and more across the US, Goldman Sachs requires all people entering its office to be fully vaccinated. And those who aren't fully vaccinated by then, as in September 7th, will have to work from home. So, as more and more mandates come out from other companies, how are they going to be? Are they going to be more in favor of the employees, giving them a choice? Or are they going to have to obey testing or actually get tested? I mean, vaccinated. That is going to be a key thing. I mean, are you going to see people quit their jobs over this now that it's actually approved by the FDA? That is still a question that is unknown at the moment. So, another key thing that passed today was the House Democrats. They cleared the path towards passing that $3.5 trillion budget. So, this is big because as this gets closer and closer to actually becoming um, a real bill being passed, this will provide the um, long term bull market in my case. Why? Because if they pass this and they have $3.5 trillion, I could see another round of stimulus checks coming out. I could also see interest interest rates remaining low, I mean, if they're building infrastructure, this is going to bring more jobs into the economy from construction, and um, the steel fitters, the construction workers, the shipping containers, all of that is going to drive the economy, and they're going to have to take out money in order to produce all this construction, right? So as this gets closer and closer to actually becoming a real life thing, I could see the markets taking this as really good news. Next, we have, which I thought was pretty crazy, is Shopify and TikTok agreed to partnering up. Now, to me, I think this is a great marketing move when it comes to social media and pretty much those influencers. A prime example of someone that will really, really succeed in this type of industry would be like um, uh, Kylie Jenner. Why do I bring up that name? Because you see a lot of girls wear their makeup, talk about the Kardashians, whatnot, and by being able to post on TikTok, one of those, I don't know, maybe makeup tutorials or something like that, they could tie it up to their quote unquote website or shop, and instead of actually searching for it and making sure that it's the right one or whatnot, or the right shade, you could just click on the TikTok and it'll bring you right to that actual product. Now that is something that is is really, really great when it comes to the consumer. Why? Because it's all a psychological impact. Now you're more inclined to buy something when it's more easier to do it than you are to go out of your way and do it. So that's something that is interesting to me, and I will definitely be looking at Shopify in the near and long term just because of this news article, which is pretty significant to me. I mean, they're going to generate more revenue, and pretty much they're going to go toe to toe with not only Twitter, right? They're going to be going toe to toe with Pinterest. They're going to be going toe to toe with Amazon. Now, they're not there yet, but as an e-commerce platform, that's what TikTok is kind of changing it into and bringing more and more users to their base. So that's very interesting to me. Shopify, they actually rallied about 5% today. So that's a good sign. We have the holy grail of meme stock rallies. So today, GameStop has surged 27% to lead the way of the meme market mania. And as you can see, the other meme stocks rally. AMC was up today about 20%. Bed Bath & Beyond was up about 5%, as well as Clover was up about 10%. So what is this signaling? Because the last time we saw this, I mean, the first time we saw this, markets kind of went upside down and didn't know what the heck was going on because of the volatility was so crazy. And then the second time that volatile kind of short squeeze, gamma squeeze, whatever you want to call it. I mean, those are the technical terms, but the volatile trading times, the second time we saw it, the markets didn't react to it because it seems like this type of trading or quote unquote investing is here to stay. And if people are going to target stocks with short interest, I mean, they're going to target stocks with short interest. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's the way that it happened because it caused short sellers so much money. And the first time it happened, no one knew what to do. Now, I mentioned in pre-market that I was buying, yesterday in pre-market that I was buying options in AMC. Now today, I bought more options in AMC because I tweeted out at about 1:30, somewhere around there, that if AMC pushed over $38, that we could possibly see a gamma squeeze. And we did. It went all the way up to about $47 and then pulled back. And we'll get into that stock price in the after hours very shortly. But it that's a volatile move. That's a sick, nasty move for AMC after all that consolidation period of downwards to have that momentum breakout the past couple days. Now that's to me signaling a sign of strength there from AMC. So let's get into the markets. All right, so futures right now, we have the Dow up by 21 points, S&P up by a point, and the Nasdaq up by 6.75 points. So let's get into the heat map. While Nasdaq and S&P posted all-time highs, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia weren't led by those. So we had some pullback from the vaccine company stocks as well as some big tech stocks, but financials rebounded a little bit today, while energy as well. Now let's break it down by performance. So in the short term, from a one-day perspective, utilities declined 0.03%. Meanwhile, from 1 week out, we have consumer staples down as well as healthcare, not by much, at most a quarter, and obviously a 0.11%, as you can see. So let's zoom out. From the long-term perspective, everything is up. I mean, energy just has that red from the 2, 3, and 5 year perspective, but everything else is far in the green. So today, stocks in the news was Palo Alto Networks, Best Buy, Pfizer, Apple, Medtronic, and Tesla. So Palo actually posted earnings today, and they posted better than expected earnings per share, sales, and they even raised guidance above estimates, causing their stock to rise 18.6%. Meanwhile, Best Buy also posted earnings pre-market today, posting sales of 11.85 billion as opposed to 11.49, and earnings per share of 2.98 as opposed to estimates of 1.85. So that's a beat on earnings that drove Best Buy stock price upwards. And then Pfizer, they got the full approval today announced from the FDA, which is good because travel stocks rebounded today as they took that as good news for a reopening trade. But as you could see, and like I noticed from the heat map, some of the vaccine stocks did have a slight pullback today, so nothing to be worried about if you are in there. And Apple down 0.06%, and they were one of the most mentioned news stocks because it is Tim Cook's 10-year anniversary of Apple. So that is why. And as you can see, Medtronic, they had something come out. I don't really follow that sector. And then Tesla also had some mentioned in the news due to their software with their automation for cars. So looking at the bottom, we have some stock movers. The percent gainers, Triple S Management, Skywater Technology, GameStop, went over that. Mania, looks like it's coming back. And then percent losers, don't really follow any of those, but not too worried about that. And then the highest volume that was laid out today was AMC, Naked Branded Groups, Sundial, Now, I pay attention to the top three, the other two not so much, but for sectors, consumer discretionaries were up 1.25%. That was led by pretty much GameStop, and then PTD as well as BIBE, and then for the bottom sector, utilities declined 0.03%. Let's get into some earnings. Alright, so the rest of the week earnings. Today we had Best Buy pre-market. Intuit came out after market. They actually posted better than expected earnings too. I work a 9 to 5. I was going to buy a call option on this prior to close just because I knew a big pop would happen. So it closed at 554, and after market they jumped up to 566.20. That's a big jump and I missed it, and I'm actually kind of mad about that, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, you win some, you lose some. Tomorrow's a new day and a new trading day. You get almost full 8 hours of trading. So tomorrow before open we have Dix, Express, RBC, and then after close we have Salesforce, Snowflake, and Ulta. Those are the ones that I'll be looking at, as well as NetApp. So Thursday, looking for Xpeng, Peloton, Bill.com, and that's really it for earnings. So here we are. We got the triple Qs, the SPY, the Dow, and the gold futures. So you could see NASDAQ, well, triple Qs hit an all-time high, 374.99. Right now it is down a little bit in after hours at 374.62. Nothing really to worry about there. Then the SPY hit an intraday all-time high of 448.54, closed at 447.97. Futures slumped a little bit right now, and then Dow closed at 353.66. And gold futures are down right now, but I could see them really coming back over that 1805 range that I saw this morning. So tomorrow I'm going to be looking at that. And now let's break it down. So we're looking at the daily now. What I want to do is look at today action price. The 30-minute chart here. So triple Qs didn't really have a volatile day. It hit 375.3 in pre-market trading, and then pretty much traded sideways today. That's a good sign, trading on the upper high level of the consolidation. So I like that. It didn't dip below yesterday's close. So nothing, I don't think there's nothing to worry there. And then the SPY was a little up and down. To me, on the 30-minute, looks like a double top, or it could be a reverse or inverse head and shoulders pattern. Tomorrow morning we'll be able to find out more, but it did push an intraday all-time high, so that is just, well, in pre-market, that's just something to keep mindful about as the markets await Jerome Powell's speech on Friday. And then as we look at the Dow traded flat, but again, the consolidation is on the higher end and didn't fall past the previous day's close, which I like. It means it's strong support there. And then as we're looking at the gold futures are flirting with the 1800 mark right now. So this is going to signal a sign of support, and if it drops below 1800, obviously 1800 is not the strong level of support. So we'll get into that more tomorrow morning. And now what I want to go over is a few stocks that I was looking at today and made some pretty big moves on. Alright, so 4 stocks that I made moves within yesterday and today: AMC, Best Buy, Pfizer, and Nvidia. So looking at the technicals right here, I mentioned that AMC has made a signal that we haven't seen since the last volatile move to that $72 mark. And with this move upwards, if it continues that bullish momentum, that is going to be a really good sign for AMC. As we're looking right now, it's at $46.22. Meanwhile, it closed at $44.26. So right now, we're looking at a nice $2 gap up going into tomorrow morning. And then as we look at Best Buy, closed at 121.49, and right now looking at 122 flat. So that's a good sign. Strong volume on today's earnings announcement, which is signaling a strong bullish outbreak. So hopefully Best Buy keeps the bullish momentum upwards. But if it does pull back a little bit, I'm looking at the 117 to 119 range to hold as support, because that's where it fell off back here in June. And then August 12th is where it topped out at, and then it declined back down to right under 110. So that is the area of support that I'm looking at for any pullback on Best Buy. And then as Nvidia hopefully comes back to life tomorrow, they had a slight pullback today. Nothing crazy though. But you could see, just looking at my technicals, that there's high resistance or strong resistance at the 218, 219 levels right here. And to me, if we don't break out of that tomorrow and hold that price with strong volume, to me that is signaling a weak position at that price. So I will probably get out of my trade if I see it dip any lower, because here on any pullback, I'm looking at pretty much 215 to hold as support. But to gain the real support, because of this big bar from Monday, gotta dig a little deeper into the detail. So that I could go into a little bit tomorrow morning. But as you can see, after hours down about 0.75%. Nothing to worry about too much, but definitely something that I am keeping my eyes out in the near term. And then as we get to Pfizer was down about 3.10% today. After hours, down a little bit, about 0.08 points. So what I am thinking is that after the FDA approval, that was, I said this multiple times already, that was built into the stock price, and that's why it topped out at the all-time high of $51.86. And as you can see on my chart, there's 2 tops out around that $51 range. Now to me, that's signaling, again, strong resistance at that level. And today we had a red day, and it wasn't a bad red day, right? This could be profit taking, as the 9-day EMA right here is holding strong support, it seems. But as the VWAP is pushing downwards, if we don't have a rebound tomorrow and we break even lower, this is another play that I will probably look to get out of. Now, Pfizer and Nvidia, I have options on expiring this Friday. So the quicker, I don't necessarily have to get out that quick, but because of the volatility with the options, and I'm really just looking to make a quick buck because of the FDA approval, and the momentum in NVIDIA, I was just trying to make a quick buck. So you always gotta assess your risk first, and if I lose between the two of them right now, if I lose $100, that's 50 a piece. I'm okay with that. That's like 2 wire transfer fees within a month. So like that's how I manage my risk. But also I always think of percentages, and I always back that into my trade. So anywhere from 5 to 7%, depending on my lot in that trade, and also the risk in that trade as well, because every stock is different when it comes to risk reward. So what I want to get into right now is AMC just a little bit and break it down a little bit more, because as it was up 20% today, it's up in the after hours, and to me this is signaling, if not a gamma squeeze, maybe the short squeeze is actually on that once upon a time you heard all about for a solid week, 2 weeks, and then it kind of died out as the momentum kind of was dragged away as other stocks started making the breakout moves when it came to short interest. And if you are not paying attention to this or up to date with it, it's kind of hard to catch these jumps. But when it comes to FOMO, right, fear of missing out, you don't have to jump in right away. And even if you do, you don't have to buy stock. You could buy options. Options could be a really, really good opportunity to get in, or actually to use your cash for a lower entry point. So what I'm getting at is you could buy one contract at, let's say, $1.65 with a strike price of $50. So buying a call option with that strike price of $50 at $1.65, which would equal a total cost of $165 with unlimited ability of unlimited profit. This is a way to maximize your profit without putting all your money out there in hopes that it happens. Options could be very volatile. There's a lot of things that go into options. You have theta decay, you have time decay, you have implied volatility. Those are all things that run in the options, as well as weekly options and monthly options. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you learned something today, and from my tweets and posts, I hope you all understand that I am trying to push out knowledge about how to make your hard-working money that you earned into more money by just simply coming to my YouTube channel and watching my videos. Now, have a great rest of your night, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.